Hey, what's good, my fellow masters? Just a quick video here to cover the third Singularity Pickup Summon banner for the ongoing Singularity Repair Support Campaign. Now, I realize most probably won't even look at this banner, but for the sake of consistency and the chance someone might wonder about the servants, well, you get the idea. And compared to the second Singularity banner, I'd say there may be a slightly more enticing reason to roll for some. Featured on this banner are a permanent SSR servant, 2 SRs, 1 permanent and 1 that is a story-locked unit, and then 1 permanent 3-star servant. The sole SSR in question is the permanent rider class Francis Drake. This famous privateer/pirate captain, who amazingly somehow avoids a wardrobe malfunction, is an area of effect buster unit. And despite being a year 1 servant, her overall kit has some nice things to highlight. A 50% NP battery, making Drake a more than competent farming unit and capable of working well within the double coin Skya system. She has skill-based buffs that allow her to ignore invincibility, and after a skill rank up, also ignore defense, both for multiple turns, giving her a couple of tools for challenge quests and the like. That skill rank up also gives her a self NP generation buff and buster increase for multiple turns. Drake can also buff the party's NP damage and attack, though unfortunately the buff is only 1 turn, so is limited to 1 particular wave, either Drake's or a fellow attacker if she's in a multi-core setup. Her NP is as straightforward as it gets, with no other effects other than the damage, plus an overcharge that provides a good amount of critical stars, of which riders like her can naturally make good use of with their best-in-class base star absorption. When I first started playing FGO, I found myself using Francis Drake often whenever I saw her come up on my friend's support list. I didn't have any of the meta support units at that time, and naturally found Drake's 50% NP battery so helpful to quickly get a wave cleared. Plus, I quite liked the whole beam cannon barrage thing she had going on with her NP animation. If you already have Coin Sky of Light, then Drake could definitely serve as a good 3-turn buster farming servant that could also be used in battles with gimmicks like defense and invincibility spams. But at the same time, Morgan's banner is still ongoing, and being another Coin Sky compatible unit, I think Morgan is a far more versatile and compelling SSR to roll for, if you were looking for an AoE buster unit and might have been considering Drake at this point. The good news for Drake fans that don't yet have her, there is always another chance to roll for her every February during the annual Valentine's events. Accompanying Drake on this banner is the permanent 4-star combo unit, the infamous pirate duo Anne Bonny and Mary Reed. This Yuri bait couple form up to make a quick-based single-target rider. I suppose the most defining thing about their kit is the low HP damage modifier tied to their NP's overcharge effect. The lower their HP is, the more damage the MP will do, especially if at higher overcharge levels. After the first of 2 skill rank ups, Anne and Mary have a Guts with a 1 HP revive to help get them in the optimal state to best leverage their NP. This comes with a 1-turn taunt effect that will at least help lower their overall HP, even if the incoming enemy attacks are not quite enough to trigger the Guts. And the duo are also capable of both increasing their attack and star absorb, plus their crit damage after a 2nd skill rank up, all for 1 turn, along with supplying themselves a good amount of stars. Now, it can be fun to play around with getting their HP to 1 or close to 1 and unleashing a devastating NP attack. Certain boss battle gimmicks can even make it easier to do. But in most situations, it's just simpler to utilize Anne and Mary's single target NP without having to worry about lowering their HP in order to boost the output. And at that point, the free 3-star rider Ushu Akamaru, who you're likely to have at NP5 sooner than Anne and Mary, becomes a comparable if not superior alternative. Never mind if you have this legendary welfare rider in your roster already. Soon. Soon, Rider Kentoki will be available to those of us, me included, that were not around when his events occurred. But getting back to Anne and Mary, I think it's enough to wait for them to spook if you don't yet have them. But for those who are curious, at the moment they do not have any future scheduled banners. Next up is the story-locked 4-star caster Medea Lily. This younger, more pure, and less jaded version of Medea is an art support unit that specializes in healing and debuff removal. Her kit really has no offensive support component to it, so Medea Lily is mainly suited for lengthier, more challenging battles with plenty of debuff or even buff removal gimmicks. She has a very large NP battery, capable of charging her MP gauge up to 150%. Then, with a skill upgrade from an interlude, Medea Lily can heal the party for up to 3k HP while also removing any poison debuffs. Furthermore, after a skill rank up, she can boost the healing received of one ally for a turn, plus increase that ally's buff removal resistance for multiple turns. Perfect to protect a primary attacker from any buff removal gimmick which shows up occasionally, much to the annoyance of many no doubt. And then Medea's MP provides another layer of party-wide healing, general debuff removal, and even adds a 3-turn debuff resistance effect from its overcharge. So when I said at the beginning of the video this banner may be slightly more enticing than the previous one, I was mainly referring to Medea. Not quite for her capabilities, but rather due to her being a story-locked SR unit. Of course, if your roster is still in its early stages, then having a healing unit like Medea Lily could prove quite useful, and she is very good at healing support. But story-locked 4-star servants are interesting in that they are placed on radar rather infrequently. And if you happen to be a collector like me, then banners like this can kind of turn into a fear of missing out. And unfortunately, Medea Lily does not have any other scheduled banners in the future. Of course, that will probably change at some point, but that's the current limit of our clairvoyance skill. As for those that don't really care about collecting servants and are just looking for a support unit that can heal, I would say save the SQ for now. During the Chaldea Boys Collection event in March, the story-locked 3-star caster Asclepius will be summonable. Not quite on rate up, but with the summoning pool being limited to just male servants, the odds are okay to get him. Plus it helps if there's an SSR on the lineup you wouldn't mind getting. The limited SSRs, Merlin, and his quote-unquote little sister, Lady Avalon, are the meta support options who have banners in March and April, respectively. Or if you can wait until September of next year, then you can pick up the welfare SR caster, Irisville, for free. Otherwise, my general recommendation would be to roll for Castoria. She may not have healing in her kit, but leverage her NP's anti-enforcement defense effect and, well, who needs healing when no damage is taken, right? Not to mention there's the whole providing a ton of other benefits Castoria brings as well. Rounding out this banner's lineup is the 3-star archer David. This former shepherd turned giant killing biblical king can also be summoned from the friend point gacha, so he will turn up eventually if you don't already have him. And his single target buster MP can hit quite hard when up against enemies with the giant trait. And those are my thoughts for this third Singularity banner. As always, many thanks for watching. Please don't forget to hit that like button to support the channel. And if you are planning on rolling on this banner, please let me know in the comments. Until the next one. Cheers all.